In the next video, we're going to talk about in greater detail the sales process that you need to make sure you have set up and is working for your agency. So the first question to ask yourself, what is the sales process that a salesperson has to follow with leads or even generating leads in the first place if your website is not bringing you a steady stream of visitors, leads, and inquiries? So if your website isn't giving you leads and downloads and information and emails every day, what are you going to do to actually generate those leads? What is your process? The sales and agency playbook needs to be a part of your whole agency playbook. It should have a salesperson responsible for managing this. Now, in the beginning of your agency, you are going to be the salesperson, but as soon as possible, and I've gone through this in the sales forecasting video, as soon as you're ready to hire a business development rep, somebody to warm the leads so that you close the leads, maybe that's a junior person, and then maybe a senior person to actually go out and do the meetings, close the sales on your behalf. That is what you need to do. But in the beginning, you're going to have to set it up. You have to have sales done on a daily and consistent basis. This is where I see a lot of agency owners failing because they do sales, but only when they feel like it. So a sales job has to be every single day that they are working in calls, follow-ups, outreach. It can't be something up and down that the owner decides to do when they feel like it. Or if they're having a bad day, they go, I don't feel like doing that. Whereas with a salesperson, even if they're having an off day, there's plenty to do to generate your sales pipeline and to do work. You have to have a solid process. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be ongoing. It needs to be every day. You have to attract good fit leads to your business, and that's why you need to target your buyer personas, which we've covered off in the last part. Your website might bring inbound leads, but if you don't have a solid sales process to follow up with these people all the time, you're not going to move them through the funnel. You have to attract the leads through your marketing activities, but then you have to have a solid way of following up. What is the next email? What is the next outreach on LinkedIn? What is the next video that you're going to do? It used to be in the past that you could contact somebody, maybe they've been on your website, downloaded some material, and in the beginning of inbound marketing, it took between 6 and 8 touch points to convert them into some kind of conversation or activity. Current estimates today are that it takes about 50 connections up to between LinkedIn, Twitter, email, video, for you to actually connect with that person and maybe even convert them into a sale. So there's a lot more touch points involved. So I do say to a lot of agency salespeople, you're not selling anything bad. People are busy. They know that they need to get stuff done, but you need to get them at the right time. This is why having a fantastic tool like HubSpot or a CRM that makes you see when somebody is engaging with your content, that you can pick up the phone and start to talk to them while they're in the mindset. How are you going to rock sales in your agency? So it starts with content. So you're going to have to need to get your marketing fired up. You're going to need plenty of content, inbound marketing campaigns, your chosen target keywords. You're going to need up to 16 pieces of content every week. And this is just a guide. So you're going to need blogs, articles, videos every week from marketing about the problems that you solve for your ideal clients. You're going to need to have LinkedIn for shared content. You have to hold breakfast seminars, and we speak more about this in the marketing side of things. Send surveys for feedback with your existing clients or even with prospects that didn't go through the sale. It'd be good to find out if you had a good relationship with them, what happened? How could you improve in the next time? And then you book a call to find out if they're worth pursuing. So these are just some simple steps. If you have no sales process and you're going, where do I start? Start here. Start with these very simple basics. Prospecting and outreaching, first of all, has to start with a chatbot on your website. People are coming to your website, give them a way of interacting with you straight away. Unbelievable material from Drift here on scripts that you can get access for free, and just get that facility set up. People are very comfortable now asking questions with chatbots. I definitely recommend following up with all leads. Even if person is doing research, even if they're not in your ideal target market, follow up with an email, follow up with a Vidyard video, find out what were they looking for, how can you help. Be helpful, do not sell. Like I said before, you actually can't sell anymore. People buy. They buy when they're ready, they buy if they're ready, and they will engage with you in comments and content on LinkedIn, on social media. They're going to ask questions. They're researching. Let them ask the questions. Don't force them into your process. Ask prospects what their challenges are and how can you help. Just asking that simple question can be an absolute game changer. We've spoken about this in the previous video, but again, just to highlight, what are you going to be your next steps? I want to get this solid process into your system, into your salesperson head about what are you doing next. And even if you don't have a CRM, even if you just do this on a spreadsheet, document in a spreadsheet, the name of the person, their LinkedIn profile, their email address, and then going, okay, we've engaged with them, they're ready for a call, they have information that they're looking from us and they are worth pursuing. Do they have the time? What is the time to do the work? You're not going to do everything. You're going to need these people for content, for logins, you're going to need them to approve things. So do they have the time to engage with you? You're going to, on this call, find out if they have an approximate budget by giving them a ballpark price and see if they're fine with the numbers you have suggested. Again, I've spoken about this. This is why you have pricing on your website. If they're not comfortable with the ballpark, then you shouldn't be having a connect call with them. There's no point. And this is where, again, with packaging, you can have ballparks between, if you're not comfortable putting up like $5,000, you can say between 2.5 and 6.5, depending on your goals. But we talk about this on a call. The next stage is really up to you as an agency. You might do a presentation meeting. This could be done in person, this can be done on a call, this can be done on Zoom, and you might combine that with goal setting. Or you might set up a presentation for the marketing manager, and then they say, oh, we'd like another meeting with the decision makers. In that decision maker meeting, you could then book a 90-minute call in person where you go through their challenges, offer solutions, and get their goals from them. What are their goals? When do they need to achieve these goals? What are they prepared to do to achieve these goals? How much do they want to spend? And then you can bring this all back to the relation of quantity and quality of visitors and leads in their budgets and their timeline. A next one, huge one, I've mentioned this a lot, presentations of proposals. Never email a proposal over. Never send it, even if you've gone through this extensive information, never send it over. Book a call, book a Zoom call, book a meeting, and walk them through it. Answer their questions, sell the proposal in, handle objections. And then the proposal, if you use a really good system, you can actually flick that over. And I talk about proposals, presentations, and contracts in the next video. It can be flicked by adding the terms and conditions, and they can electronically sign it. Having all of these systems set up, having your Connect Call questions done and ready, having your presentation deck done and ready with some slight customization for the client, having your proposal templates ready, having your contract T's and C's ready. All of these, do that work now so you can do lots of calls, lots of meetings, and increase your conversion rate quickly. You have to turn that person who was on your website, move them through the process as quickly as possible to see if they're a good fit or not. Have a CRM. You must log every single email, interaction, call, Vidyard video, whatever you're doing with them has to be logged. And again, you don't have something very fancy for this. You can use a spreadsheet in the beginning. When you're contacting people over and over again, you might be reaching out to them through LinkedIn. You might be reaching out to them on email after they've downloaded some material on your website. Set up some templates. Don't be typing up everything over and over again. Talk about the work that you have done in the past, how you solve results, how you want to talk to them, and make sure that your stages of the sales process are documented and templatized. Create deal stages for each part of your sales process. This is a really important part of, okay, what requires them to move from an email on your website to a Connect call? What are the qualifying questions and are they documented? With this is a snapshot of the CRM from HubSpot. They have deal stages, and you can set up rules where deals can only be moved when all the questions are answered for that deal stage. So for example, if you have a BDR, business development rep, booking Connect calls and they're qualifying people, you need the minimum amount of material for questions to be answered in order for you to get on a call as the senior salesperson or as the digital agency owner. You have to be able to go, am I speaking to the decision maker? What is their budget? What is their timeline? Before you actually get that call booked. What you don't want is to have a calendar full of half qualified leads for you to be wasting your time on. Further learning on this is a fantastic webinar that you can watch, which is all about becoming an inbound sales ninja. Nick Sal, who used to work in HubSpot, I used to work with him there. He's created this incredible playbook for working with the HubSpot CRM, which there are free options out there as well. And if you head over to that link, you can download the material for free and you can go through setting up an absolute rock star sales process. So if you've gone through what I've given you there, this is a great start. And then if you want to kick it up a notch, you can head over to that webinar. Every single quarter, your salesperson team have to prepare a review to present to you, the agency owner, what has happened in the previous quarter and what their plans are for the next one. So once you have the sales process set up, your deals are set up, you're reviewing in a weekly sales meeting what's happening with sales, how many calls did they do last week, how many meetings are they planning this week, etc. You set up that cadence, that's just your normal weekly meeting. Next, and we've done those reports in the agency growth section, you can check that out. Now you look at a quarter review, you've got to think about a recap of their previous quarter. What did they aim to achieve? Was it budget-wise? Was it numbers? What are their actual numbers that they actually did in relation to the target? What were the leads generated? So you'll have marketing qualified leads, the leads that marketing generated, and what are the leads that sales generated? You know, they might have been doing sales activities, networking, breakfast seminars. You get them to present the numbers, so the inputs, the conversions, the outputs. So they did X amount of meetings, what was the close rate of those? What initiatives are sales planning in the future? So what are they actually reflect, what do they do, what worked, and what are they planning in the future? You also get them to talk about why did things happen the way they did in that quarter, both the good and the bad, and what actions are they going to take based on those new learning. You then get them to talk about the coming quarter. What's the target number coming up? Are they likely to hit it? What concerns do they have? What are their numbers that they've planned? How many visitors are coming on the website? What are the leads coming out of that? And they can do some projections on, okay, based on that, we will be making X amount of calls every day, X amount of meetings every week, X amount of proposals going out, and how are they going to hit that revenue goal? What are they planning to do in the future? Are they taking holidays? How are they factoring that in? Are they doing extra work before, extra work after to make sure that they hit their numbers? And just talk about any possible hurdles that they see coming up that might affect their target. So you'll have your weekly meeting, your weekly numbers. If you're running EOS, you're going to see those really quickly. For the quarter, you get them to prepare the quarterly plans, reflective and future. So let's pull a summary of some advanced agency sales strategies. You've gone through and set up a really simple sales process. Put it in a spreadsheet, doesn't matter. Make it simple. Get it done, get it happening, get some sales in. You don't have to do anything fancy to get sales happening in your agency. It's just a bit of graft work. Then you can go on and do the Ninja Sales Techniques training. And then we talk about some advanced training strategies, sales strategies for your team. Do not answer the same question via email. So salespeople have a lot of really good content. I spoke about that in the pillar content side of things in their inbox. Make sure at the end of every week, you get your sales team to summarize the most popular asked questions, and make sure you have a frequently asked questions page on your website. Use language that they understand. Even going forward, you will create videos around that going, commonly asked questions that we get are, and create videos, create content so that your salespeople aren't answering questions over and over again and typing them up. Make sure your pitch is not too long. In that sales presentation template, you actually need to have something that's very succinct and gets to the point. Make an offer that they can book time with you for 15 minutes instead of having this, please come and pitch to us in a drawn out process. Just tell them, hey, let's get on a call and let's talk through this really quickly. It's also a good way to check if they're serious. A lot of companies just love having their egos fluffed by having loads of agencies coming in and booking these meetings and pitching. But it can be quite deflating if you walk into a company's lobby and see your competitors sitting there waiting for the meeting. I mean, it's just not a good place to be. Send out an assessment or questionnaire. It's not time consuming for you. It's the best time to figure out if they want to work with you. So you might have, oh yeah, we're happy to book a call with you. Here, can you fill out these questions and then we can make the most out of that call. You can have that on your website. You could do a health check. You can do an audit. You can do a website review. Get them to get some questions to see if they're actually really dedicated to this or they just killing some time. Do a video conference and create a strategy for them. You could charge a little bit smaller amount of money for this. But if you've gone through the Connect call and they're like not ready for a big commitment, you can say, hey, you know what I can do? I can book 90 minutes. Do you want to bring a couple of your senior guys in? Let's do a strategy session together. And you would put a whiteboard up and you would walk through your process. Again, if they're like, no, we want to come in and do a pitch, you can say, look, I can do a pitch, but based on the information that you were looking for, a pitch isn't going to cover it, but I can do a strategy session and I can give you a report at the end of that. A lot of people will waste your time. They will ask for you to come and educate them and present to them. And you might have to do a bit of that in the beginning, but over time, once you have the results, you don't need to do that anymore. People should be charging for your paying for your expertise, and you should be charging accordingly. The same way you could do a workshop. So they might go, come out and do a pitch. And you go, okay, what would you like me to cover in the pitch? And you get this big long list of everything that they want. And you go, well, I can't do that in a pitch, but I can do a workshop. And if you want to bring your sales guy, your marketing guy, your team, your operations, your services, bring them into a room and I'll do a workshop. And at the end of the workshop, you'll have a clear strategy on what to do next. So you can do these either virtually if they're in another country or city, or you can do these in person if they're nearby, and charge for them. If they're afraid of a small charge that they can put on their company credit card, what's going to be different about you coming in doing a big whole pitch, wasting your time, your petrol, your education, knowledge on them to what? So figure out at what part of the process you can actually charge. When your prospects ask you for a proposal, send it to them as quickly as possible. Have a template ready and fill it out based on what you know the client's pain points. But as I said before, don't email it. Send it to them just before you book a call, and send it to them just before, as you were getting on the call. Open up your Zoom, share the screen, and walk them through it step by step. If more people need to be followed up on with that and can't make the meeting, record it and so that they can send it to them afterwards. Don't confuse the client. Make offers one at a time. What are their main challenges? So give them, they might have 2 or 3 main challenges that one package is going to satisfy. They might have more challenges, but space that out and go, look, we know that you've more challenges, but we want to rectify the first 2 to 3 now. And then in the future, we can address the others. So now we've covered off a really simple sales process, some advanced strategies, and some extra learning for you to actually build a really solid sales process for your agency. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments, you can just drop us a line on the comments field below or send us an email.